Welcome, everybody. Another Tuesday. Hope you had a good weekend. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Fantastic.
Everybody have a good weekend?
Yep.
Nothing too fishy here.
No.
Well, I went down to Calgary. I had a wedding in Canmore.
Oh,
so
sweet.
that was Saturday, Sunday. And so we went to Calgary. The first night, hung out with some friends. So we were going to float, but they had those rules because of you have to stop fishing at 2.
Mhm.
So so didn't do a float, but just went down to the river anyway and kind of checked it out, and then went to the wedding. So it ended up being an awesome weekend.
That's sweet.
And a great weather.
Yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful. Weddings are always fun. This was my family, so it's all cousins and aunties all dancing.
Aw.
Yeah, always a riot.
Those are the best.
Yeah, they were. It was fun. So
Yeah,
that was fun.
I hit up Gull. Wasn't great. I think the introducing that slot size was nothing good for it.
Mhm.
Everything's a cookie cutter right at slot size, so.
Right.
Oh.
But
Right.
that we've seen that before on Buck Lake as well. If you don't get there in the spring, you're not getting your keepers as good of quality, anyways.
Right. Were you catching pretty good though, Mitch, or was
No.
the heat adding to the fact that they weren't biting as well?
Well, it was in the morning. We had the heat, and we had like 3-4 foot waves too. So
Oh, okay.
it's never fun.
Well,
They don't like bouncing as much as we do. So
you should see the waves that me and Lisa did at on Lac La Biche. The waves we were hitting.
yeah.
Yeah, they were big. I do have a video. I will post it soon. But
I'm so proud of you.
Some of the swells were so big that I just wanted to like give it a crank and just launch over them in the inflatable. But I was scared. Lisa, I kept telling her to come back, but she liked the front where it was bouncy. So I'm like, I don't want to like knock out. She's just loving it. She's just like.
I'm like, well, at first Amber's kind of, she's being kind of gentle and whatever, and I look back and I'm like, come on, let's go, hit him.
You sure?
She's like, well,
Yeah.
I want you to fall off. I'm like, I have a life jacket. I can swim. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's when we're anchored. Every time we hit one good wave, it just come right over the front. And then just hit the bilge pump. And then come back up. Then we're gonna rip back. And I start ripping back and start skipping all of them. And Dad's like, no, you gotta stop now. You're killing my back.
That sounds like when you came fishing with me, Mitch, for last September.
Yeah, we always have good weather.
We're hitting the waves, so the tournament was over, and we go to leave, and we're hitting the waves, and Mitch looks over, and he's like, there's another launch, right? I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, we're not going this way. Figure it out.
They're pretty good waves.
They were good waves.
Just full send.
I'm more comfortable when I go full send than other people go full send.
Yeah.
That's true.
I like being able to steer.
Yeah.
Or have control. If I'm not in control, I'm not as good.
Yeah, I can see that. His white knuckles. No, I'm just kidding.
I had all the life jackets, 3 on each arm.
Yeah.
I was wondering why he was asking for more. Like, do you have any more life jackets?
That's funny.
But how was everyone's summer, Amber? We'll start with you because I got you loaded right here.
Trying to think of the last time we spoke, but I think July and August or July, I've been doing lots of river floats. So I don't know. I mean, I've probably done like 3 or 4 river floats. One of them was an overnighter. So got to put all the gear onto the float and float down for 2 days. So That one was fun. The weather was good. The fish were biting. So that was a good trip because I did the same trip last year and the wind was going against the raft, which made it for a really, really long day. If you stop paddling, you're going the other way. So this year got lucky. Fish for goldeye, got some walleye. So that's always fun. Yeah, there's the raft. That was at nighttime. You can see that storm coming through too. That was a huge storm that didn't even hit it. I just got to watch it all night.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was going crazy, yeah. So, been doing a lot of rafting this summer. Yeah. Then me and Lisa went out. We went to Lac La Biche, and she got to show me the ropes there. We got some really nice walleye, and we honestly had we should have done that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like it's about time that we actually got the things lined up and we actually got to go out for a fish together. We just had so much fun. Stomachs hurt.
Yeah, it was a good time. And I'm not supposed to say this out loud, but I'm just saying, Amber, there may or may not have been a walleye caught jigging with a fly rod.
A really nice leech pattern. Yeah. That may or not have happened.
May or may not have. Just saying.
Yeah, Lac La Biche is a gem of a lake.
It was so much fun. And then Lisa got to see what the swellfish inflatables, like how those were and how they tolerated the water. And so there was that. And luckily we hit some rough water. So that was the roughest water I've ever experienced with it. It was fun.
And you did amazing.
Yeah, and this was my goal this year, was to get comfortable on the boat by myself, and I said that right from the very start of the spring.
Yeah.
So I asked Lisa a lot of questions and asked for a lot of feedback, and she was able to, oh, you're doing awesome, and hey, try this. And so I learned a lot. It was just an awesome day. It was good. And I told her not to help me. Don't do anything for me.
I didn't. I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
What size is that boat for length and everything?
That one is the largest one. That was 15 feet, just over 15 feet for that one. Yeah. So it's a good size. We had a lot of room. Yeah. We each had our own spot. And I taught Lisa how to fly fish a little bit. She actually picked it up really well too. She was like a natural.
I had a good teacher.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Lisa, how was your summer?
My summer was really good. I definitely got out and did a lot of walleye fishing this year, which was really nice. And I spent some good quality time fishing with the family. That's a picture of my son with his personal best, and it was an awesome day on the boat with him. So great memories, and took my grandson out. Oh my gosh, it was just a highlight. He was so excited, and he helped reel it in, and he was just on top of the moon. And then he wanted to pet it, so he pet it, and then he's like, "Ew, why so slimy, Baba?" But he keeps asking when I'm taking him back fishing. So I think I have him hooked. So yeah, no, it's been good. Catching some big. I mean, my smile says it all. I was pumped when this. I thought actually I caught a pike when I jigged this walleye up. So I was pretty excited.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, I've just been out with a lot of friends and family and taking people out and showing people and spending some time. And of course, you all know I love eating them, but I love releasing them as well. So it's been a good summer. Awesome. And of course, like you said, Amber, it was a lot of fun with you and Tasha. We didn't make it out yet, but I know it's coming, so I'm pumped for that.
And, right? I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely excited.
Fishing's been picking up quite a bit down here, so it'll be good.
Good.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some more rain and some cooler temperatures to get rid of that curfew.
Yeah, we got some this week down this way, and it did get pretty cool. A couple nights it was down to like 6-7 degrees. So, and that was here in High River. So I imagine out west it was even a bit colder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
So,
quite a bit of rain Saturday too, I believe.
yeah.
So hopefully it helps.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Thursday is my first day off, and that could potentially be a whole day of fishing,
Ooh.
Ooh.
depending.
What are you chasing?
I'm gonna go probably southwest and fish some trout streams. There's a couple that have been pretty low that actually did get quite a bit of rain, and they came up quite a bit. So I think they'll be safe to fish. It's supposed to be pretty warm in the afternoon, so I might, play the temperature by ear. And I really want to pick some berries for, my jam and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I might spend the hot part of the day picking berries and then hopefully fish that evening too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a buddy up in Hinton right now catching some Athabasca rainbows, and the blueberries are just to the max right now. He's sending me pictures right now and messing up my whole program, but it's okay. I love seeing the pictures.
Well, and the berries aren't going to last long if the heat keeps up like this. So if you want to pick them, best be going.
Yeah. Are you gonna make it back further west there, Tasha?
I'm hoping to. I definitely want to get back out and do some fall bass fishing. And one of my friends out in BC, actually, she just got herself a little Zodiac boat. So there's a few places that we want to tour that around, and she's just getting into fishing. So I'm pretty pumped for that. I think it'll be really exciting.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we'll be down next weekend. That pumpkin seed is amazing, though.
The colors from that lake, like there's 2 lakes I fish that are so close together, and the colors from that lake are so different than the other lake. Like it gets so blue and pretty, and the other lake they're almost like fall colors, like more orangey brown, like still very beautiful, but it's crazy like how from lake to lake their colors change like that.
Yeah. Well, I think some of them are the red ears.
Yeah.
And then the pumpkin seeds as well. Because I know we catch a lot of red ears in the couple of the lakes. I know there's a couple pumpkin seed lakes that they're more dominant in.
Yeah.
And we were talking to a guy when we were down a few weeks ago that I'd like to sneak into, but we'll see. Those pumpkin seeds are just my favorite, though. Big bluegills are nice too, though.
They're fun to fish for, hey? Super feisty.
Oh, yeah. The dish plate going through the water.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Have you eaten one?
Oh, when we used to go to Minnesota when I was a kid, we'd clean hundreds a night, like 100 plus.
Yeah.
And
I still haven't eaten one. I would like to.
Can you keep... I know they're invasive there. I'd never seen anywhere in the regulations about it, but I'm assuming you can.
Yeah, they're still considered invasive, like perch out are there. Like perch are like that there.
Yeah.
And I've never had troubles with it, but I've been told by fish and wildlife officers in BC that if you do catch an invasive species, you're supposed to keep it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like maybe I might get in trouble for saying this, but I'm putting the big ones back. Too bad. So sad.
But there is regulations on perch and bass in BC now, and some lakes have different limits.
Yeah,
so
every place is different.
I can't see them as invasive. Sunfish have no limits in BC, so I'd consider them more as a catch and keep. But
yeah.
Are you going to go chase some more bulls?
Are they like a perch? Do they taste like perch?
Yeah. Perch and bass, I think they all kind of taste like perch and walleye. They're all delicious.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
And
No, I definitely want to fish some more bull trout too, but that window is closing very quickly because they are starting to spawn in some places. And that's one fish that I want to stay away from when they're spawning because they are pretty sensitive in that condition. And, you know, I don't want to disrupt them off their reds. That's their time.
Yeah. And they're already spawning even with these warm temperatures?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Because some of the creeks, like, it depends whether the creek is coming from a lake or a glacier. So the creeks and rivers that have been coming from glaciers are still fairly cold, especially out west. Like the one creek I was fishing out west of Longview the one day, I had 2 pairs of pants on and my waders, and this was 3 weeks ago, and my legs were still frozen in that water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still some pretty cool temps, and I think they might come from the main streams and go into those cooler little spots too for that.
Yeah. They go into those smaller tributaries for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a lot of ACA projects these days going into those smaller tributaries to help the bull trout reproduce better, putting more structure in and watching the banks for the cattle and whatnot in certain areas.
Yeah, certain banks definitely get pulverized by the cattle. And after 2013 flood, so many of the banks got washed right down to like sandstone and everything like that. So that kind of takes away that part of the ecosystem, and then you don't have those weeds and things growing on the side of the banks that you kind of need for that health of that spot. So I know like Seapaws and Trout Unlimited, there's plenty of spots out there that they've been rebuilding, and I've watched a few of their projects, and it looks really great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they've been doing a lot of work. Even at Gull on the weekend, ACA was there when we came off the lake doing a survey.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was nice to see. We haven't seen really anybody out in those areas. And hopefully that information goes to the good hands and we get some changes again. I know people like to catch fish, but if you want a sustainable fishery, you can't always keep a fish. You have to look to manage it and have the different age classes. You can't just have that one age class consistently.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Other than that, everybody, what's your plan for the fall?
Well, I want to definitely get up to BC and go out there. I want to hit all of these mountain streams because I love ice fishing and I love winter, but fishing a river and flowing water is just really where my heart belongs, I think. That's where I'm my happiest anyway. So I want to make sure I can do that and be out there safely and you know, not worry too much about what can go wrong and just be out there and kind of enjoy it. So that's what I'm working towards this fall.
I was dying.
Plugged in.
Amber, you got any big plans?
Well, starting school this September, so and I'm working on Saturdays, so I only have Sundays. Basically, is my open day. So I'll probably do a few. Focus on the river here. North Saskatchewan River is usually where I like to spend my falls for pike and walleye. So I'll be going, and hopefully I have. I try every year, and I never have anything big, but I see them. I know they're there, so I'm gonna try again this year. And then I was telling Lisa and Mitch too before you came on, Tash, and yesterday I just bought, or no, 2 days ago, I just bought a new camper for my Tacoma, so it fits in. But it's a pop-up camper.
Oh,
so it's just a little thing, and it's got a little pop-up top. Wow,
that's awesome.
Say it faster.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. Like, it's a little late. I'm hoping to get a couple Even if I leave after work on Saturday and just do one night, like this weekend, I'm sleeping in my driveway. I already told them. I'm sleeping.
We want to see pictures of that, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
A video
Driveway camp out.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm so excited. It's nice. So that'll keep me dry, and that'll keep my 5-year-old happier, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
my
so awesome.
I am leaving on Friday for Cree Lake Lodge in northern Saskatchewan for 6 days.
Ooh.
And, gonna target some lake trout and some grayling and some pike. So hopefully it's gonna be an awesome trip. And then I come back. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I'm trying to like contain myself, but I actually can't.
I wouldn't be
and then
able to.
Yeah, so
we
can expect some like massive Lakers and massive pike over the next couple weeks.
Well, I mean, it's fishing. Ooh. Who knows? But I hope. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that, and then I come home, and I'm home for a couple days, and then I'm actually going up to, and I don't know how you say it, Malign Lake by Jasper. Malign.
Yeah.
Oh, Malign Lake.
Sure, that one.
Sure.
So I'm going up there for a couple days to do some more fishing. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then hopefully it's not completely done yet, but by the end of September I should have another trip into BC and doing some sturgeon fishing. And yeah, so. And on top of that, I'm trying to get in some hunting. So September is a little packed.
Yeah, that's the hard part this time of the year.
Yeah.
Fitting everything and still working and doing stuff around the house.
Yeah.
But
yeah. How about you, Mitch? What's your plan?
Oh, I don't know. I think my plans are just always so hectic. But I know we're going to BC this weekend.
Nice.
For some bass.
Oh, yeah.
We go every year for the last 3 years. Me and a friend and his wife, we go out with Aaron and them. We always have a good time. So next weekend, I don't know. Either Cold Lake or Newell or something.
You're just gonna
do something fun. Because that'll probably be the final hurrah. I think Friday I'm gonna go pheasant hunting.
Oh, nice.
Because it opens Thursday. So it'll be nice to get the dag out. I know we didn't get out once last year. Work was just insane, and I'm not gonna let work do that to me this year again. And take more time for myself. And after that, who knows? I got an antelope hunt I'll be filming with a buddy. Then I got some mule deer hunts filming, and whoever asked me to go do something, I'll just kind of tag along.
You just kind of wing it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I live life right now.
Yeah, I actually do have one trip I forgot about that I will be doing, so I'm excited for that one. I'm going to Victoria again and do a little bit, see my family, and then do a little bit of salmon fishing.
Oh, so,
yay! So there's a river I like to go to. It's fly fish only sections, which is usually pretty quiet. And usually the chum are running around that time, and they're fun fish to catch on the fly.
They're the best.
So probably
I love them.
That's
you catch a big old chum, you're going for a ride.
Oh yeah.
No, nothing. Like I've only
if the seals don't get you, don't get it first.
Oh, yeah. We usually go beginning of August. We go up to Terrace at my buddy's. Then we fish the Kitimat, and we get into some 30+ pound chum on the river. I do only spin gear out there because I don't have a fly rod that's capable for that. And I wouldn't trust myself with a fly rod that's capable for that, because like you get on a spin rod and you're running downstream with them and your reel's not locking out. So you kind of got to lock it, then just judge it. And you just keep running and judging and running and judging. but
That's where I'm
amazing
yelling
stuff.
at you, and I'm like, lay the boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're phenomenal fish.
Yeah, it is fine. So that's it, though. It's my. I just forgot about that. That's way back in October.
Well, that'd be great though. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
A nice break from school.
Yeah. I might pretend I'm sick for that week.
COVID.
Yeah.
7-day clearance. I know we just went through a huge tragedy with John and everything, and I think it's important to bring up safety first, stuff you should have with you. I know it touched everybody in the fishing industry, especially in Western Canada. It's just solo fishing can be, I know I do it. I know all of us kind of do it. It's something, a relief. It's more of a mind settling thing when you go out by yourself just to refresh kind of sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's times like it's hard to make those judgment calls. Sometimes you think like, hey, it's going to be fine, be going fine. But sometimes you overlook like what could actually happen maybe. And we could just touch maybe just on bringing like a package to set up like your pack. What are you guys going to run for your pack? Just be like a pre-prep. We'll just go over that quickly just to have on you, and always important to notify somebody in the location you're going to be at and where you're going to be at the next, if you're moving the next day or anything like that. Just a few tips, then we'll quickly go into another subject.
So when I'm out fishing by myself, a couple things I like to do in carrying my backpack, whether I'm, fishing from shore or I'm fishing on my boat on my lake or a not known lake, is, I like to carry my spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, I think that's important, and it's a good tool to have. Prior to that, of course, you're letting people know where you are. I usually leave something in my vehicle, just flipped over, a note, just kind of saying roughly what I'm doing on the lake, when I plan to be back, what my intention is. Yes, I've let people know, but I've also left a note somewhere in my vehicle. In my backpack, besides my spot, you have your first aid kit, you have some fresh water, you've got a little bit of food. Always carry a knife. I mean, I carry one on me, but I carry one in my bag as well.
Mm-hmm.
Socks are important. I know that sounds crazy, but that's and actually lip balm is really important because it is actually crazy, because that's a few days out in the sun and you get stranded and all of a sudden your lips are cracked, and that's where your infections start, right? So
yeah,
as crazy as that sounds, it's actually kind of important. So those are some things I have in my bag.
Yeah, I think it was you who maybe told me about putting a note in your vehicle, and that I started doing that because that was something like, even I thought about that instantly when John was missing and everyone was out searching for him. Even when they had found his car, they still didn't find him right away, and something like that could really help. I know you have the spot and there's different things, but that could really help search and rescue get to you so much faster. And that's something I started doing even before John passed away in his situation. But I think that's, I don't want people to break into my car and steal my roots. That's not what I'm telling you. But I think that it's definitely super important, because they're gonna, like, the vehicle is your starting point, and so that's gonna give them the direction. You have 360 degrees around your vehicle that you could have gone, and so that's gonna narrow that down so huge. So I think it's super important, and I'm glad that you mentioned that to me, because that's something that I started doing. And I think my parents appreciate that I do that as well, just in case, because I know they worry when I'm out there by myself.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, even if I know if you search or Google, your local search and rescue group, they actually have a form that you can use if you didn't want to just handwrite it, if you actually wanted to fill out a form. And again, I mean, search and rescue, we know, like, you can hide it in your glove box. I mean, it doesn't even have to sit on your seat, right? It can be wherever, because they're going to go through your stuff. And, put it in your visor where it's out of the way and no one else is really seeing it. And then you know exactly what search and rescue needs to find or what they're looking for information. So it is a good tool, and I definitely use it. Our family uses it.
Yeah. Kind of can add to, I've been floating for years, probably over 10 years on the river. And when I'm on pontoons or rafts and stuff, and when I'm rafting on a day trip, I always see people rafting in their tubes, and I'm always so jealous of their flamingos and stuff. And I'm like, well, what if that pops?
Yeah.
Because you're not wearing a life jacket.
Yeah.
So I think about that, but anyway, so when I'm floating, I make sure I have everything if something goes bad. I have everything I need to get through the night or a couple nights, or so like Lisa's talking about her knife, or I always bring duct tape with me no matter what, because that actually saved me on a float where a piece of shale cut the bottom of the pontoon and the bladder started falling out of it. And it was the duct tape wrapping it around the pontoon that was allowed the float to finish. But just, or else then what? Because then you're stuck on the river and your end point is 6 hours away. So I try to think about just at least having enough stuff to get through a night. So I think if I went on a float with a unicorn, I think I'd still bring a life jacket and maybe a backpack.
Yeah.
Well, if
you're the old unicorn float.
I mean, if we're kind of getting down into the nitty gritties of our backpacks, right? I mean, if number one, if you want to look at your backpack also, because it's really important that you have a backpack that's waterproof. I mean, if something were to happen, either to you slip, but you happen to have it, or tether it to you, so that if you do fall off or what might happen, you want to make sure that pack is coming with you. And you want to make sure that it's waterproof, because really, I mean, you've got, even if waterproof matches or flint and so on and so forth, you want to make sure that, you've got everything that you still need, that you can use it and it's not soaking wet. And yeah, I mean, definitely. And if you get wet, that's why for me, I mean, one of our biggest heat losses, as you know, is our head and our feet. So I like to carry a toque and a spare pair of socks. I take it everywhere I go. Middle of summer, like even today, if I was out fishing, they're in my bag, because you just never know in the nights what happens or how cold you get or whatever. So those are a few more tips.
Yeah. Dry bags are key.
Yeah.
My friend at Legend Boat just sent me a sweet care package with a nice dry bag, and it's been tagging along everywhere I go. You can stuff everything in your socks. Like socks, there's nothing more fulfilling after a wet day putting on. Like I carry woolies if I go anywhere. They're the socks I bring as backups, just because they're so warm and they just bring that comfort, kind of.
Yeah.
And flashlight.
Yep.
Floating flashlight. If you're going out at night, there's nothing better than a flashlight. If you're going to stay overnight, that helps you go find firewood. That helps you find whatever you need in the middle of the night. Teepee. Make sure you have your teepee. You don't want to.
Don't worry, us ladies carry a lot of teepee.
Yeah. And white.
Yeah.
And I like.
Sorry, go ahead, Lisa.
I like Chris Suhan's comment, because that is something. Yeah, that's something I've had to learn my lesson a little bit, because I fish a lot on my own on my boat, and I wasn't wearing a life jacket, and things can happen really quick, and you really don't have anyone around. I mean, something happens to you out there, it's a while before someone's coming to find out where you are. So good point, Chris, and yeah, wear your life jacket.
Yeah, I'm bad for that in my boat. 100%. But I should wear it.
Yeah, I don't always, but I should too.
Yeah.
I've been looking into like, have you guys ever used, there's certain like little belts that you can buy. Like I would use it as a wading belt, but you just rip the cord and they inflate super quickly. That's what I've been kind of looking into. I had one when I started fishing. I honestly don't know what happened to it at this point, but I've been looking into a new one, and I was wondering if you guys use any of those.
No, but that's actually not a bad idea, because that reminds me of a time I was telling Tasha. So I'm 5 feet tall, and I was going through some water, and I'm just walking, and it was quite high. It was probably higher than I should have been walking through for my height and the waders were, but my feet just lifted off the ground, and I'm like just walking and not touching the ground anymore. And so I talked to my friend, and because I'm starting to go downriver, and I'm like, hey.
So you're floating.
And I tried to remain calm. I was floating, and I tried to stay calm so I didn't freak out. My mind just went to calm mode. And I'm just like, does somebody want to come and grab my hand? I'm not touching the ground anymore. And then they freaked out, grabbed me, and then pulled me in. And after that, I made sure to hold on to someone. But if I had one of those belts,
yeah,
then I could just be like, okay, well, I'm floating, but maybe the belt can maybe keep me up. So I always carry
air in your waders, but it's not always enough to totally lift your whole body if you do get submerged. Well, like if your belt is really tight.
I was just focusing on keeping my body upright so I wouldn't get water in my waders. So that's why I wasn't freaking out. I was just trying not to move at all until they came and got me. But yeah, it was a reality check there. So now I hold on to people.
A good thing is sticks too when you're crossing. Always have a good stick if you want. Yeah. And if you have someone bigger than you that can break that current for you when you're crossing.
Yeah, do that too.
Like as a kid, my dad would always break it. I break it for people all the time when I'm guiding too, because you want them to feel comfortable, and that's the easiest way across. Always go on kind of that 45 with the current. Yeah. So you're not fighting the current.
I would never cross unsure water by myself. Never.
Yeah, I do, and that's something. But
you go.
I don't know, and I will admit that. But I think in certain places I will take my waders off to cross. Okay. Just because. But one thing that helps me, I'm just over 5 feet, like 5'3", so it's not too much taller, but I have tree trunk legs, and they're not always gonna be on my side, but I definitely will. If it's a little stickier of a spot, I'll face the current, because your natural reaction when you're falling is to fall forward, and it's going to be a little harder for you to fall backwards. So at least that way it gives you a little more control as you can step into the water instead of having it push you too much. A lot of areas, if I'm fishing knee deep or less, I'll let the current kind of push me across, and it makes it a little easier. But those deeper spots, I just face it head on and slowly, 1 foot over the other. And you got a good pair of sunglasses so you can see what you're doing. And if I can't see, I'm not going to cross, obviously, even if it's somewhere I go all the time. I definitely want to be safe that way. But I think facing the water and just really, holding your ground in it has helped me out in some of those sticky spots.
Yeah, especially if you do it as much as you do. You came up. I definitely get nervous. I don't know if, be like, oh my gosh, I need somebody to come and rescue me.
Right? That's why I don't get nervous that much when I'm crossing. I have been lately, but I never was really before. And there's a lot of stuff that I would cross. And so now I've been trying to plan those spots a little better. I'm good at finding those little seams to get across, but it's kind of like, you want to know what's down below you too, because if you're in a flat section and there's a drop off below you and you can get sucked into that, it's a washing machine. And if you have waders on, you know, you might not make it out of that kind of hole. So that's something I've been looking into a little more, is if there is something like that down for me, I will walk along the shore till I get downstream of that big spot and then cross instead of crossing above.
That's good.
For sure. Well, we should bring in our next, start our next topic and bring our next guest, Robin, about guiding and her experience leaving her full-time job and heading north. Hey, Robin, how's it going?
Oh, hey, girl.
Hey, Robin.
How are things? Oh. Your mic might be off, Robin.
Hey everyone, while Robin's doing that, I'm very sorry. I apologize. Thank you everyone for coming out today, but I have to run.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We'll chat soon, everybody. Okay, bye. Good luck, Robin.
See you.
See you.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya. Do we have you now, Robin? You might just want to reload and come back in. Yeah. And with some of those pack items, like a fire starter is always good too, the flint.
Yeah.
Like those
I
things
just have a safety whistle that has like a dry area and it has matches, a flint, a mirror, like I have a little fire starter brick that I shove in there too. And that, you know, little things, like hopefully I'll never have to use that getting stuck overnight, but you know, we all know that those things can definitely happen, and just being as ready as we can be.
Do you know what I started bringing with me now? I started bringing an air horn with me everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun. I actually get like comfort that I didn't realize I would get with it. Like
right?
A bear or help, or I'm on the boat, or so it comes with me on the boat and it comes with me in my tent and just comes with me now.
Yeah, my buddy Josh Nugent, he's a guide in Calgary, and he saw me cross the river one day, and he was waving at me, and I'm by myself, and I'm like, oh, some guy's waving at me, like I'm just gonna keep going. So I like wave and go. I didn't realize it was him. And he sent me a message, and he said, I seen that you have bear spray on your pants, but I didn't see a horn. He's like, I wanted to tell you I saw a grizzly bear cross where you were crossing, and I think you should have a horn just in case. So ever since, I've taken one. It just sucks when it's on your belt and you fall down and it sprays off in your ear. Ooh, that'll wake you up in a hurry.
Yeah.
Welcome, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We got you now.
Here, let's see. I'm gonna try my headphones here.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, sweet. Headphones, that's a trick.
And you quit your full-time job this year and went guiding in the Yukon?
Yeah, well, I wasn't guiding. So I went up to the Northwest Territories.
Okay.
I went up to Casbah Lake, it's called. It is half of it's in Nunavut, half of it's in the Northwest Territories. So I went up because one of my really good friends, Marty, he's a guide up there, and he mentioned that they needed someone to go and work at the lodge. So I quit. Well, I didn't quit my job. I'm back there now, but I took a leave from my job with a week and a half's notice. And I went up to work up north. So I really wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to learn how to be a fishing guide in a crazy place like that. And I took full advantage of it. It was awesome. Oh, someone's knocking at my door.
The Popo,
You can't
run.
open the gate with the dog. Your dog?
Robin has a really sweet puppy too.
What kind of puppy is it?
Golden Retriever? I met her at Lisa's ice fishing adventure up in Lac La Biche this year. And so she got the puppy not long after that. So he's not super old, but so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. She does some hunting and stuff too. So I think it'll be a good dog for her.
Yeah. No, they'd be good for pheasants, good flusher, and ducks and whatnot. Do you guys, with your trips planned this year, do you have a few friends coming or just doing the solo?
Solo.
No. What's that? Sorry, Tashi. Yeah,
probably
okay,
solo.
Oh, solo?
Yeah.
My dog got out.
Oh.
That will happen.
We were just talking about your puppy.
Oh, yeah, he's a good boy. He's a little hyper. Need to brush up on his training a little bit, but he's good. He's 7 months old now. We're just starting training for retrieving.
Yeah.
It's
what
hard.
What kind of dog is he?
He's a golden retriever.
Yeah, retrieving. Does he like, have you done any live like ducks and stuff yet?
No, we haven't. The plan was to train him over the summer, but obviously I took off for a couple months. So duck season starts in a few days here. So hopefully I'll get him out there, get him some exposure, get him exposed to some live ducks. First and foremost, he's doing pretty good retrieving the bumpers just around the yard and learning how to use his sniffer and all that fun stuff. So I can't wait to see how he does.
Oh, I know my dog hates ducks to retrieve. They're too oily.
Yeah.
You'll return a pheasant or a grouse, no problem.
Yeah.
But a grouse or a duck, she'll just like try to bite just like the foot and try to retrieve it back. So
yeah.
Like the nest biting. That's back with it. But it literally doesn't work well. I had one buddy, we did a pheasant hunt right along this lake in this pheasant release site. And when there was a bunch of ducks set up to come back to the lake, so we set up for them to fly over us. Then we got a couple mallards, and then my dog went out, grabbed the duck, then dropped it, grabbed it. It was cold. It was October, so there's that layer of ice around the side.
Yeah.
And she's just like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. So Buddy made sure he shot that duck right after he shot it. He's like, yeah, that was mine. I got it.
Yeah.
So he kind of had to strip down to his ginch and swim out there with my dog, swim beside him, get the duck, and come back in. But what experiences did you gain from up north there at the lodge?
I think the main thing is so my main goal was to learn how to be comfortable on the boat by myself and learn how to navigate such a big lake. Casbah is really, really huge. There's a lot of reefs. The water level changes a lot year to year. Like you can have a reef that's there one year and it's not there the next. So you really have to learn how to wayfind and really how to pay attention to your surroundings and be confident in that. So I think that was the main takeaway for me at the start of the season. Like my first time taking the boat out on the lake, I was very, very freaked out. Like I didn't feel comfortable, to be honest, even though, I've been on a boat many times on places like Lac La Biche and Cold Lake. Those lakes can get a little testy at times, but it's nothing quite like a big northern lake like that. You just never really know. You never really know what you could get yourself into. So confidence is the main thing. That was the big takeaway for me. Weather is another big thing, learning to read the weather. That's not really something you pay too much attention to in like central Alberta. But up there where, you know, you can get a weather system coming in from pretty much any direction, being able to predict that and, you know, go about your day according to what you're reading off of from the weather is a big one too. That's something I definitely learned over the summer.
Yeah. And Amber, you guided a few trips this year as well.
I've been helping for a little bit of like group trips, like the bigger ones, but I did do one trip completely by myself. So my big goal this year was, like Robin was saying, was getting comfortable with the boat itself. So that was my goal at the beginning. And so when I took on these clients with River Valley Guiding Co., there was a wife that bought her husband a birthday present, and they had wanted to learn how to fish, but they wanted to learn how to fly fish. So I'm like, well, that's a bit, and I've never fished before. So I'm like, well, that's a bit of a jump. Let's just jump right in. But so I was nervous about, I actually talked to Lisa before too, and she got me all like pumped up and ready to go, because I was nervous about something going wrong. So something with the launching the boat, or maybe the motor didn't start, or every single possible thing that could go wrong I was thinking about. So when I got there and got on the water, I got there early so I could like boot around a little bit and kind of do a little bit of a pre-fish. And when the clients came, I just relaxed, and it just became like super comfortable after that. I turned on my trade show, because we do some trade shows and stuff. I turned on my trade show personality and took them out. And then I was just like, I'm like, none of this is going to make sense to you right now. But in 4 hours, you guys are going to be hopefully hooking into fish, and this will all start to make sense. And then within the first hour, they both caught a fish just practicing.
That's awesome.
I know that it was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. But they freaked out because they got fish on. They don't know how to strip it in with the fly rod. Then after they got comfortable, they were catching pike and walleye, just like little pike and walleye, and we're cruising in the swell fish. And at one point, they're like facing forward, and she like rubbed his back, and they're like having him, and it's like, aw, like I'm creating this moment for them.
Yeah.
And it was, I couldn't even get off the water, and it seemed like they didn't want to get off the water. And at the very end, they seemed really thankful, and I glowed for about like 2 weeks after. It was like,
that's so sweet,
the greatest thing. I was so proud of myself. So yeah, but I know it's not always gonna be like that. Like no. that was I got really lucky, and it built my confidence up. But I do not expect the weather to go on my side. I do not expect the fishing to go on my side. I do not expect the clients to be as outgoing and comfortable. Like, there's so many dynamic variables that go in with it. I just got welcomed really well by everything that night, and just lined up really nicely for me. So,
perfect.
Yeah. It was really good. I'm really excited for you, Robin. It was the most magical feeling.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Are you gonna be going back next year, Robin?
Yeah, I'd like to. That's the goal. I don't know if I'd go back to this lodge in particular. We'll see what opportunities arise, but guiding is definitely something that will be happening in the near future. I'm super excited.
What kind of fish are you going to target, do you think? What was your kind of favorite thing there?
I'm a big fan of lake trout. I got into fishing for lake trout, I think, 3 years ago. And it's just so much fun, like especially when you get into the big ones, seeing the look on people's faces when they catch them and they're telling all their friends and their family about it. It's such a cool experience.
100%. Up there, like, how big was that lodge? Was there like a main lodge and a few cabins?
Yeah, so we had a main lodge. We could host, I think on average, we had 30, 35 guests at a time.
Oh, that's quite a few.
Yeah. So it's a pretty big lodge. It's a fly-in too, so we had people from all over. It was pretty cool, actually. Surprisingly, it seems like such a regular thing to fish for pike, like being from Alberta, but most people were actually really excited to go fishing for pike, which seemed weird to me, but I guess, guests from the U.S. don't really fish for that down there, so.
No, I don't think the size is usually there compared to our cooler
totally.
lakes and whatnot.
How long is the season? Like the
so we started June 20th. There was still ice on the lake pretty much all of June. So nobody really went out to the main lake. You just couldn't. The water really opened up the start of July. And then we were out there until I think August 17th was when we came back.
Crazy.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a shorter season. I think normally they go until the end of August, but up here we were only there until around the 17th.
Yeah. Do you have hunting camps out of there as well, or is it strictly fishing?
No, this one is just fishing.
Cool. What was like the favorite moment you had at that lodge this year?
Probably catching my first fish on the fly. I learned to fly fish last year. And I mean, it's one of those things I'll probably be still learning forever. Like, I don't think you ever learn absolutely everything there is to know about fly fishing. But yeah, catching my first fish on the fly was probably the best moment of the summer. That was really cool.
What fish was it?
It was a lake trout. It was during the start of the Cisco hatch, so we were just using top waters and seeing them just like mow your top water popper. It was pretty cool. Yeah, there it is.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. Catching a lake trout on a top water fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
And you guys run all tillers up there, 16 foots or 18?
Yeah, 16s. Or no, sorry, I think they were 18s.
Yeah. Do you guys troll a lot of spoon?
What was that? Sorry?
It looks like you got downriggers for a lot of spoon trolling.
Yeah. 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 And end of July and all of August is when the downrigging really started up there.
Yeah.
In that picture, I caught 2 lake trout on 1 flatfish. That was pretty weird.
Oh, sweet.
What was your biggest lake trout that year or this year?
18 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nothing super massive, but it was cool.
18-pound lake trout, I would take any day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That lodge it's fly-in only?
Fly-in, yeah, correct.
And that just makes a whole new nostalgia to like a fishing camp when you get to land on that float plane and everything. It just brings you separates you from everything pretty much when you get there.
Yeah, totally.
And just walk down that dock, headed to the lodge. It's an amazing feeling that everyone should take in at some point in their life.
Yeah.
And do you think
I'd recommend a fly-in trip to anyone.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll keep doing this for years to come?
Yeah. I mean, that's the plan. It's just it's a whole different ball game to go fish a completely different area and take in the scenery. I think one of the best parts about it too is just the people that you meet along the way.
Mm-hmm. I think as a guide, that's one of the best things about being a guide is watching people catch those fish, the interaction that you bring with that, and just seeing their emotions and letting them release from everyday life and just coming to a amazing place or just getting out for a day and just having that release and just something they can put in their memory banks.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on, Robin. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Maybe we can have you on soon again once you get your season plan for next year.
Yeah, for sure. Hope they have some cool stories to tell.
Because we got all ice season, so there's going to be so much more adventures.
Yeah. Yeah, the fun's only starting.
Do you guys have any ice fishing plans yet?
Hopefully Lisa's thing up at Lac La Biche.
Yeah, I want to do that. I got my I bought my buddy Wesley's big clam insulated tent last year, or otter. I don't know the blue. I think it's otter, clam or otter. I don't remember, but I've had to do a couple overnighters. Well, no, I got my truck. I got a camper.
Yes.
Exciting.
I just bought
like fancy ice fishing.
I just bought a canopy for my truck. I think I'm gonna take that to Cold Lake this winter.
Yeah.
Make a bed inside of it.
Yeah, like a platform kind of setup.
Yeah.
With the pull out drawers underneath.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It makes it's so nice. Just get off the ground.
Yeah. And it's so easy. Like you don't have to load anything up that way.
No,
yeah, my least favorite thing about ice fishing is packing up at the end.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I like setting up. That's fun. But when you're like dreading the cold and you're in your nice warm shack and you just don't wanna.
Yeah.
Keep the shack warm till the end.
Right?
Yeah.
Till the very end.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this year's going to be an amazing time on the ice. I think there's a lot of places to venture to. I can't wait to see everybody's adventure.
Oh, yeah.
And the show, anybody have anything
Maybe
else
we
they'd
could do a show ice fishing.
We could try or pre-record it.
Yeah.
We should do like.
Or like, I just want to ice fish you with you guys. That's it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
We should definitely do a trip up north and a trip down south this year.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
So we can have a group trip up there and a group trip down there, and it'll be sweet.
Yeah, I'd like to come south. That's something I've never done. I always go north.
Oh, come down south.
Yeah, I want to come south.
Ice fish for some bull trouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do Lower Cave.
I actually have done that. I have done the Lower Cave, but never caught a fish.
It's a beautiful place. But it's also a cruel place at times.
It was cruel.
I've never caught anything there.
I got a couple hours of nice weather fishing there in the winter, I think, out of like 40 trips.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It was cruel the 2 or 3 times I went there, all 2 or 3 times. Yeah, all for one follow up to the very top and still didn't take it.
Yeah. I had a couple follows the one day, then the other time I didn't have anything, so I didn't know anything.
Yeah, it can definitely be like that down there. I don't use electronics either, but I think it keeps me busy because I just constantly work the column the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like electronic. Well, I got really good at Plants vs. Zombies on that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting a phone call.
Well, we better go so you can answer that phone. Thanks, everybody, for being on. Really,
thanks for having us.
Having us, Mitch.
We might be on next Tuesday. I don't know yet. I might go down to every second Tuesday just because it's easier.
Well, you got to get some trips in.
Got to get some trips in. Got to get the acreage finished. So much stuff before snow flies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thanks, everybody. Can't wait to see you guys again. Good luck fishing.
Thank you.
Everybody else, get
Stay safe out
outdoors.
there.
We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right.
Bye, guys.